on TikTok streets and beyond. Black Americans have been litigated from all other groups of people. These are their stories.
Those are from Ghana. We have to give them a piece of land so that they can build a Wakanda however they like it. And we will give them all of the resources that we have because we don't have money. But what he's doing now, he's begging for money. Reparatory, what's that? The
Yep, and
crimes
he
committed
going
on
on
their
behalf
soil.
of the African Union and CARICOM. So he going after the Caribbean's reparations as well.
Well, I don't know
So,
who's a lawyer,
so,
but
so let,
I
let,
want
let me
some money from
clarify, right?
Africa. Listen, the African countries that committed that crime on their own soil should start open up their pockets and pay. That's logic. I'm glad that
So,
these young people, our young people from the Caribbean, North America, South America, are waking up out of this Pan African nonsense. And they should drop a claim on the African Union, on CARICOM, all of these countries, because it's time to pay. We want our money. We need our money for giving them a roof on top of their head. Those Africans in my country,
so it's a one-sided story. I know you explained the story of the white what you were taught in school, right? Which is a one-sided story, right? So
I
our
don't care
people,
about the
so
story
our ancestors were
because the
never
crime
sold,
was
right?
committed
So
on the soil of
our
Africa.
ancestors were
That's
kidnapped and they
important.
were
The rest is
captured
not
by the
important
coast, and
because
which they took them to the
otherwise
Americas.
we
So
can
these
talk
are
for
people
10,
who were
20, 30
No, no,
years.
kidnapped,
no.
right?
He said that he sold the people. They were not captured. He said
No,
that he
no,
sold them. It's
no, he
on
never
record,
said that.
sir. It's on video of
Let
him
me see the video.
apologizing for selling his people, sir. What do
Let me
you
see the
mean?
video. No, he
Nobody
never said
captured
that.
those people. Your
Those
people
people
are
were
liars,
captured
and
and they
y'all
were
lie. Y'all
kidnapped.
lies are backfiring, right? Because you know one thing
You see,
about
that's the
telling a
problem.
lie,
You believe the
you will
story of the
never
white
be
man,
able. You will
then you can't believe the
never
story of
be.
the
Listen,
African.
one thing about a lie, you will never be able to tell it the same way twice. It just don't happen like that because it's a lie,
The problem
right?
is you believe the
But you're
story of the
saying
white
that
man,
they
but
was
you don't believe the
captured,
story
and
of the
this
African.
same president said that they sold them. So
They were kidnapped and they were captured.
your people over there in Africa, and the YT people between both of y'all need to get it together. Y'all need to get y'all lives straight, cause the math ain't mathing.
So these enslaved Africans, you cannot take a story of somebody who have committed.
Is that what you're saying up here? Because he made a whole video, sir, an
Hold on, real quick,
apology.
y'all. Gratitude. Who just sent that? Birthright Heirs. Gratitude. That was so cute. Go ahead, goddess.
Yeah, so you saying so what the YT people have a pew pew to his head to tell him that he's sorry for selling his people? Are is that what you're telling me?
No, no, no. This is a mental thing, right? They wrote this history for African to claim responsibility.
What you don't know, and what most of you Africans don't know, we have the
How do you
contracts.
know we don't know?
One moment, one moment. I'm going to explain
No,
something
but
to
how
you.
you making
I'm going, one moment, one moment. I'm going to explain something to you so that you can
but why
start
you
thinking.
conclude that we don't know what we don't know about?
Because what you are saying is not even the story.
So which story is true?
Okay, the real
Your
story
white tea
is
story?
the real story is
Where do you get your story from?
the real story is if you shut up, you
No,
can hear what
wait,
I'm going to say.
who
So
told the
shut
story that
up.
you wait, I
Shut
gotta
up.
ask question, bro.
I'm
Who
trying
wrote the
to answer
story?
your question.
Who
So the
wrote the
real
story
story.
that you're about to
Are you
tell?
going to interrupt? Are you scared of me?
No, who wrote the story that you're about to
Are you
tell?
scared?
Go ahead. I already
Okay.
know where you're coming from.
The real story is the Africans were renting mercenaries to the Europeans, the Dutch, the British, and maybe also the French and the Portuguese. I don't know about the others, but we have the contracts. And the contracts are even of metal. You know, I'm not going to tell you what kind of metal, but the contracts are of metal. They were renting mercenaries to the Dutch. They brought them to Asia, and they brought them to South America. That's one part of the story. You know, it wasn't that the Dutch were holding the Africans on gunpoint, because if that was so, the Africans could flee into the land itself instead of staying at the coast, because that's how the Dutch arrived, at the coast. You understand? And then let the Dutch chase them in the land. The Dutch will lose. You know that Africa is a big continent. So that story that you're saying that you were on gunpoint is nonsense.
Bro, most of
You
our
committed.
people are
Hold
leaving
on.
the coast
I'm.
due
I'm
to
talking.
these
I'm
are
talking.
fishermen.
Yeah, it hurts. I understand that it hurts, but it's facts.
No, you don't hurt me
It's
nothing.
facts. You know, the Dutch and the Africans, like this guy on the picture itself, his people, these Ghanaians, together they were working because they were destroying communities in Africa, captured these destroyed communities, people, and selling them to the Europeans. And among those innocent people, there were mercenaries. And those mercenaries were used to come give us havoc on our soil, to come give the indigenous people havoc. That was the whole thing. And it's still going on because that old contract from back in those days is still in effect. We have a guy named Ronnie Brunswijk in my country. He's on the contract of the Dutch. They give him money to overthrow a democratic chosen government in my country. And that guy, Ronnie Brunswijk, is an African. His ancestors are these mercenaries. We have every document about these people. So this guy, this Ghanaian guy, he should start digging into his own history, because I think the Dutch want to get rid of him. They want to get rid of that old contract. And the Dutch kept that old contract. And they explain what that old contract is. He should start digging into his history, seeing what his people have done, because they apologized also, those royals in Ghana. They apologized for what they have done, their ancestors. That's why I don't understand what he's doing in the United States right now. And many African countries have done these things. That's the story that
He
no one
over
wants
here
to talk
trying to
about.
steal. That's what he doing, stealing bones. So that, see, this is what. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something.
Y'all remember when Sophia said a girl child ain't safe in a family full of men? And I will argue a woman is not safe in a world full of men. Because why am I today years old at 42 just finding out about the rape festival that takes place every year in Nigeria? And if I'm not mistaken, the state is called Zoro. For a whole entire week, it has already started. Any woman that is caught outside is liable to be raped. And the men who commit these atrocities do not get locked up. They don't go to jail. It is a fucking tradition, y'all. I need y'all to help spread awareness so that it can bring more light to the atrocities that are happening to these women and probably girls in that country, in that state. This is why we can never stop talking about things like the Epstein files. This is why. Because there are people and men who believe that these things are a man's right and they are entitled to a woman's body because of the patriarchal systems that we have grown in and have been indoctrinated with. Look at the amount of women who have been raped by their husbands. Giselle Helicot from France, whose husband was selling her out to other men, and he was drugging her so that it could happen without her fighting back. The man who is a military personnel who went viral for saying that something about, just the amount of brown women in the country that he's attracted to. The rapes that are taking place in the war currently. This shit is fucking atrocious. and we can never stop advocating for victims.
Today, we're talking about Miss Nebraska, a pan-indigenous content creator who is African, being confused. We're going to be talking a little bit about the FBA and pan-indigenous folks who are causing confusion. Now, you know, on my channel, if you peruse through my channel, I always say speak on your own lineage. All so-called Black Americans do not have the same lineage. I made videos about Miss Nebraska in the past, saying that Haitians are Black Americans and Black Americans are Haitians, and the majority of Black Americans have Caribbean lineage, which is a lie from the pits of hell. This is very important. Listen, she was also saying recently that she feels sad often because she doesn't know her Creek culture, right? Now listen, y'all think this is a shady video? It's not. We have to call a thing because there is a lot of disingenuous talk going around, a lot of hypocrisy, which I don't understand. I don't get. Now look, Miss Nebraska in the past said that she is African. Right? Follow me. She was talking about the freedmen who were enslaved by Native Americans or American Indians, and she made a distinction. She said, if you were not given a freedman card, then you are the original American Indians melanated that was already over here. She said, if you got a freedman card, you are African, but either way, you have come presently to be known as an American Indian. Ooh, I'm not saying that that's wrong or right, but I'm just pointing out the fact that she said she is African. Ride with me. She then goes on to show her freedman card and back up her narrative of her family being African. And that's how she's an American Indian. And she also, out her own mouth, said throughout the videos, I'm about to show you the little clips, the little compilations, that she is African. Take a look at these clips. And we're going to talk about why this is important and problematic in relation to FBA and also called Black Americans, American Indians in the United States of America.
I figure out the discrepancy. In 1865, when those enslaved were freed, there was two groups of people who were freed. The non-supporters keep saying, well, you're not indigenous. You're from the African people that were enslaved in the South. That's fine. I'll be that. But there's only 388,000 of us. The United States only gave out 388,000 freedmen cards. 4 million enslaved people were freed. If you do not have a freedman card, you were freed with the 14th Amendment that said you were born here. So they acknowledge both groups of people. You guys think that all of us came from those people. If you don't have a freedman card, you do not have African descent, and you were freed with the 14th Amendment that says you're born here. Cutie Pie, we're making the same point. The freedmen, the Creeks, yes, had enslaved Africans. We're freed using freedmen roll cards. So if you are not on a freedman roll card, you cannot claim to be one of those enslaved Africans. We are only a number of 388,000. There was 4 million slaves freed. The other 3.5 million indigenous people in the United States enslaved were indigenous people. I'm also sticking up for other people, not just my heritage. I'm saying, yes, you are right. Creeks had slaves. We are on freedmen cards. If you don't have a freedman card, you weren't a slave brought from Africa. So that makes 3.5 million indigenous people left, enslaved in the United States when they were freed. We're making the same point. And I want you to show me what tribe you're affiliated with, please. This is my family's Creek Freedman roll card. And I called them and I made sure. I said, number 997, ma'am. She said, yes, ma'am. That's it. We found it. Slave of nobody. So I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. If you racist, just say that. If you're racist, just say that. So yes, this is my family on the Creek roll. Thank you very much, ma'am. You have a good day. I use filters for fun. I'm beautiful in real life. Yeah. And these is my real nails too. Yeah, they're called protective styles. So we do things to protect ourselves, protect our hair. This is my real hair over here while I braid it and protect it. I cover my nails to protect them because I love myself. I cover my hair to protect it because, first of all, I'm of the Semitic people of North Africa. And second of all, to protect myself. I'm pretty in real life. The fountain they used, they said that was on our bosoms. That's what they said when they got over here to the land. They said, we saw some bitches and we ain't seen no bitches like this ever before, okay? He said they got loincloths on, they got canary shells, and they drip down in gold. That's when y'all found us in 1493. Been hot since 1493. That's 533 years of badassness. I'm beautiful in real life. It's a part of the thing. It's a part of the blessing. Now go tell your mama that.
Does anyone have discernment? Does anyone understand nuance and context? Because to me, it sounds like she said that she is African, right? She's African descent. She's African. It's going to mean something in a minute. All of a sudden, everyone wants to be disingenuous when it's convenient for their own motives. Black Americans, indigenous American Indians, it is I, Kenneth Way, the fifth great grandson of Nat Turner, one of the greatest American freedom fighters of all time. On my channel, we talk about journalism, psychology, communication, media, and public relations in relation to protecting the identity, the history, the legacy of my people, my lineage. And oftentimes through these mediums, through these channels, our narratives are changed. But we're correcting the action. These are also the areas of my expertise that I went to college for. Now listen, I know that all freedmen are not Africans or African descent. Many were already over here, full-blooded American melanated Indians, right? But this came out her mouth because she didn't know the difference, right? Why is this an issue? Because this is the woman that's trying to make all Black Americans Haitian, trying to make us all Caribbean, saying that we're all the same. These people don't know the difference between collard green and cornbread and mangoes and jerk chicken and coconuts. At the most simplistic level, understanding culture and identity, these people are disrespectful. So she doesn't even know her own identity. You can peruse through my channel and see the videos in the past, but we're going to dive more into it right now. She doesn't know her own identity, yet she's trying to create narratives for all so-called Black Americans, American Indians in the United States of America. How is that? Now look, we're going to get into it a little bit more, and I'm going to let you know why this is important. But take a look at this latest video from her, and I'm going to read a comment in her comment section about FBA. And we're going to talk about the hypocrisy and why this is important. Let's really get into it.
You guys do not understand the difference between having African descent and being from Africa. You said the FBA is essentially the first step to getting us on the same page. It absolutely is not. Even if you are the descendants of the FBA, you are still the American soil born children of the baby follows the belly law, which makes you the original people of America, whether you have African descent or not. So until that goes through our heads that you could be the descendant of Africans and you're not African, then we're never going to get anywhere. So even the FBA is American Indian is the point. Because it's the original people of America. It doesn't say what your descent is. So y'all believe that Native Americans are Siberian? So you guys can understand that their descent is not in America, but they're still the original people of America, even though they're not. So that's a terrible example. But if y'all could grasp that, then you could grasp this true concept as well.
As you can see, this is the same video. You Love Nico says, I never said I was African in any way. When did that mean we were African? I'm confused. And the furthest I've gone back, my greats are actually on the doll's rolls. I didn't say anything about being African. Neither do I want to. But go ahead, do your big one. Miss Nebraska says, saying FBA is you saying you're African. So don't use terms and align yourself with movements you do not understand. My love. Now, I identify as an American Indian. I sometimes use Black American. I use that term depending on who I'm talking to when I'm in mixed company for my own motive. But that's a whole nother video. It takes a lot of nuance to understand that, so I won't go into that right now. Full-blooded, both sides of my family. The only way to prove your lineage is through kinship testing and genealogy. I can trace my genealogy to the 1400s on both sides of my family. My line does not start in the Caribbean. All Black Americans do not have Caribbean lineage, but she says otherwise. Changing narratives of people, not understanding the difference between collard green and cornbread, and mangoes, coconut, and jerk chicken, and mango, and all this and all that. Very disrespectful. Understand what I'm saying to you. I'm aware that all Black Americans do not have the same lineage, right? People like to say the least amount of Africans came to the United States of America, right? Now, there are Black Americans who claim to be African, African descent, Pan-African, this, that, so forth and so on. That's not my issue. That has nothing to do with me and how I identify, right? But she is a hypocrite because she made the video saying that FBAs are indigenous American Indians, and then in the comments said that you're an African if you're FBA. And a lot of pan-indigenous folks, they play this disingenuous game. So what is good for the goose must be good for the gander. If you're going to say you're African, you're FBA, then you are African, Miss Nebraska. All this back and forth with all this bullshit, FBA, Solon, ADOS, Indigenous American Indians, Louisiana Creole, Hebrew Israelites. Am I missing anyone? Like, y'all like to pretend that you don't know that you were all thrown under the umbrella of Black American, despite having different lineage. So now we're playing a fucking game. Now everybody's being fucking ignorant because they think that other people have a motive and want to change how they identify. Now, I'm not going to get in between that. If you feel like other groups of people are changing your narrative, I always tell people on my channel, do your own genealogy. I don't give a fuck what's going on with other groups of people. What I did for my immediate family and how I identify is what I did for myself. You cannot control my identity. Now, I try to combat what people say so it won't make it seem like all Black Americans are this or that, right? But when my thing is, now you're the hypocrite, because I never said all Black Americans are Indian or African. I was speaking to some of my American Indian brothers and sisters, and they were saying, I don't know why people want to make all Black Americans Indian who don't feel it inside. Like, there are many Black Americans I know who can enroll into tribes with their genealogy, and they don't want to. They just want to be Black American, right? But here's the thing. This is my issue with her and people like her. Just like Pan-Africans, a lot of Pan-Africans, a lot of Pan-Indigenous folks are doing the same thing. They play this game like they don't understand nuance. They like to say, oh, I heard someone from this group say this, so you're all that, right? Now let's talk about FBA. Now, I claim what I claim. I already told you what I claim, so I'm not going into all that. If you guys want to hear what you want to hear, then just be fucking silly. Now listen, I'm not taking up for everyone in FBA or Tariq Nasheed, but what I will say is this. I've been following these movements from the beginning. I've been on Earth for almost 4 decades. I know what I witnessed. I've been there since the beginning of ADOS and FBA and Solon. I've seen all this unfold, right? Now, over a period of time, I've heard Tariq Nasheed talk about what he identifies as. I heard him speak about African. I heard him speak about European. And I've also heard him speak about indigenous American Indian lineage in the past and in the present. Now, from my understanding, it seems that he talks about an ethnogenesis, right? So there are people who say FBA created this, and before it used to say that they were Africans or this or that, and it says this now. I'm not debating none of that. I don't care. But what I'm saying is, when I hear Tariq Nasheed talk, whether it was past or present, I've always heard him mention a mixture, including indigenous American Indian. I've heard him say this. So it's like everybody's playing this disingenuous game. So from his point of view and her point of view, you both are the same fucking thing. If he says he's mixed with African, European, and indigenous American Indian, isn't that what Miss Nebraska says she's mixed with? I'm just saying. I mean, I have never said that I'm African. She said she's African. So you guys are saying the same fucking thing. And that's what I'm confused about. This is the disingenuous talk. This is the gaslighting because you guys don't like certain people. Again, I'm not arguing about the names. I'm not arguing about Tariq Nasheed. I'm arguing about you guys being fucking disingenuous. You don't know your own identity, Miss Nebraska, but she wants to say that everyone is Haitian. Haitians are Black American. They're the first Black Americans. Majority of Black Americans have Caribbean lineage. How fucking disrespectful. I've never been in Caribbean culture. I don't even like their music like that. Some of it is okay, but I don't listen to their deep cuts. I have no want to go to the islands and drink some coconut juice, pina colada juice. I'm sorry, I don't. She even said she feels sad often because she doesn't know her Creek Indian culture. Now, many people who was disenfranchised, they read a book. They go to powwows. There's many melanated American Indian powwows to go to. So that's a you problem. And then you want to speak for everyone? When you said you are the exact same thing that Tariq Nasheed said, you guys are confusing me. Now, I know many FBA people who say that they are not Africans. Many of them say they are indigenous. Now, if y'all guys want to argue and say they're using the wrong name, maybe you should just be an American Indian. Why are you saying you're FBA? But my thing is, if she said she's African, what is the fucking difference? I am so confused. And you guys' confusion is confusing the fuck out of everyone. Now listen, on my channel, it isn't to dictate whether people are African or American Indian. Everyone doesn't have the same lineage. Just like Louisiana Creoles, people from New Orleans can be under the umbrella of Black American. However, we're not the same, and I don't speak for their culture. There's nuance. But what she is doing is trying to make Caribbeans Black Americans and Black Americans Caribbeans and Haitians Black Americans and Black Americans Haitians and say the Haitians are the first Black Americans. The pan-indigenous shit. I protect culture, right? We advocate for reparations, restorative justice, specific policies for our lineage, birthrights in the United States of America that you claim by way of lineage. Now, FBA, Solon, ADOS, American Indians from the United States of America, you may go by different things, but we know what lineage is, right? And all these other outsiders do not have our lineage, right? When we're talking about the Caribbeans, they went through an intra-American slave trade. They didn't go through Jim Crow. They didn't go through war on drugs, mass incarceration, the crack epidemic, redlining, bombing your banks, your businesses, your towns. It's not so easy to rebuild. And they can come here from the Caribbean just like Africans and all the other immigrants and get loans and all these things that we've been talking about. So you can say that maybe some of you went back and forth to the Caribbean, but you're still not a Black American by experience. And that's why the diaspora wars goes on, because you don't understand culture. A Caribbean can't come here and understand culture just the same way an African can't. And Black Americans, American Indians went to Liberia, went to Africa and all this shit, and we're still delineating from them. So I don't understand what the fuck y'all talking about. A lot of y'all live in delusion thinking that we're all the same when Africans fought Africans, sold each other into slavery, and American Indians fought each other before colonization. So you guys think you could just all come together as people from the Americas or just like Pan-Africans and come together and just fight the powers that be. We claim things by way of lineage, right? So what she doing is something totally different. You guys can't dictate my identity, but you can fuck up narratives for all of us. How many of us who resonate with what I'm saying have to fight Caribbeans, the Asian Native Americans, white people, immigrants, Africans, Pan-Indigenous and Pan-Africans, everybody in the fucking world? Because they're mixing up messages, right? So what I'm saying, I'm not taking up for Tariq Nasheed or arguing even about all these names, FBA, Solon, ADOS, so forth and so on. But what I'm saying is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If he said that, and you know what he said, then she's saying the same thing. So you're the exact fucking people. So a lot of you like to pretend like you don't understand what's going on with nuance. Like, never have I ever thought everybody speaks for everyone, right? So when I hear certain FBA people talk, Solon, ADOS, and even American Indians, you all don't speak for every fucking one, but it's just crazy how everybody says, well, you're this, so you speak for everyone. Like, isn't that just logic? Like, even with Pan-Africans, I don't think that every Pan-African is trying to make us African, right? Like, you know, I talk about different groups of people. Do I think all immigrants are anti-Black American? No, right? So the way she does her content seems like hypocrisy to me. Did you hear her say that she was African? Put it in the comments, yes or no. Wait, hold on. Let me reiterate this. If you are an American Indian from the United States of America, either you're going to change your status, you're going to have your good paperwork, and you're going to enroll in your tribe, or you're just going to be an Indigenous American Indian, right? You don't have to enroll in your tribe to be an Indigenous American Indian, right? So what I'm talking about is different than what everyone else is doing. People could look at me right now and see me in a tribe and at a powwow, and they're still going to say, hey, you're African. You're this, you're that. They do it all the time. I tell people I'm a full-blooded Black American all the time. They keep saying I'm biracial and mixed, and I'm not that. I'm not bi-ethnic. Right? And when people keep saying that we're all the same, whether you're Pan-African or Pan-Indigenous, like her, they're going to undermine movements. Caribbeans are going to try to claim our shit. Africans are going to try to claim our shit, that they are not owed, they're not entitled by lineage. That is the problem. It's a lot of cosplaying. We've been talking about how biracials can be problematic, bi-ethnics can be problematic, Pan-Africans and Pan-Indigenous, depending upon what you're anchored in. And depending upon what you're fighting for, you're going to have to be very specific. Because as I'm seeing, you, Pan-Indigenous folks, many of you are no different than Pan-Africans. Because I am not coconut, mango, and jerk chicken. So on the most simplistic level of culture, you're disrespectful. The same way we ain't grow up with no African culture, we ain't grow up with no Caribbean culture. Speak for your own lineage. And that's why she's a problem, because she's a hypocrite and she's practicing cultural encroachment and erasure of identity. Now, we can go into part 2, which we will be doing another day. But did you guys hear her say that she was African? Yes or no? Let me know. Put it in the comments.
I love white people.
I'm editing that out.
No, leave that there because
not allowed.
no, seriously, white people are good for us because we have so many things because of white people.
I want you to know.
Yeah, but
Yes,
they made us go do that stuff because that's how it was meant to be.
I think, and listen, I think this is the wonderful moment that we're going to have, and that's still going to get 100% edited out because the people would hate that. The people.
Like how, as in, okay.
That's what I do. But I was also very curious. I was also very curious here about the different views on colonization, different views, because I hold a resentment towards white people. Unless they personally show me that they're good, I believe they're bad because I've been proven by history, by the way things are going now, that things are good for them and bad for us. Things are good for them at the expense of us. At our expense, still now to this day. They're doing well because Africa is doing bad. Apple is doing well because fuck Congo. Saudi is doing well because fuck Sudan. Like, all these other people are doing well because fuck Africa. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I can't forgive them until that doesn't exist anymore. The history is so awful. I went to the museum today and I'm seeing pictures of what they were doing to Kenyan people, and it feels just like America. Black Americans feel the way about white people generally, but black folks in the Caribbean, black folks in Africa, you guys are much more open to them in a very interesting way to me. You guys are much more open to them.
Yeah, but I feel like the struggle, I feel like in a way, the Black American people and the African people, we have a disconnect because we don't know your struggles. Like for us, it's like, for example, if my mom went to, she went to Seattle like 10 years ago. So for her, she wasn't looking to like my people, the black people. She was like, I'm here to work. Right. I need to make ends meet. I need to do this for my kids. So whatever the white man needs, and it's like getting out of that mindset. And it's like our issues are more than being recognized. As long as you respect me, you're paying my check. We have that professional relationship. Whatever. I'm not gonna like try to have my rights. If you, yeah.
As a black girl, okay, so it's okay to say that as a black woman or someone from Africa, if I go to the States, it's okay for me to bend over backwards to please you as a white person, just as long as I get paid.
It's not about the white person. It's about knowing your goals and knowing your network and how to deal with different people. So it's more about seeing someone's race. But if someone is being racist towards you, you figure out how to deal with that in the wisest way possible, and you move forward to people who actually can help you win at life.
Y'all saw that video, right? Now y'all saw it. Y'all heard it. Now, people on social media say, Brian, you're so xenophobic. Brian, you need to work with the Africans. Brian, listen to the Africans. Brian, have compassion for the Africans. Brian, the Africans don't know no better. Brian, the Africans shine the same melanated skin as you. Brian, we come from Africa. Brian, these is our brothers and sisters. Listen to something like that. You think I want to link up with somebody like that? If I don't link with black Americans that think like that, what the hell you think I'm going to link up with an African for? I want y'all to think about that. Why would I link up with a funky flip-flop wearing African that think like that? These people worship white folks, man. They love white folks. Think about this. If I was to link up with an African, right? I say, hey, African nigga, come over here to America, man. I got you. Soon as that African nigga come over here, he gonna link up. Let's say he link up with a trailer park trash white person. That African will stab me in the back just so he could be next. He or she could be next to an African trailer park trash white person. He ain't getting close to a rich white person just because the person is white. They'll flip on us. We got coons here in America that'll flip us off on a white person, but shit, let me deal with my American coons. I don't want to deal with American coons and international coons. I just don't want to deal with them. Let me deal with my American coons. I can isolate them. But them Africans a whole nother breed, man. Then the dude that's interviewing her, he a Pan-African. He's a Pan-African. And he get upset with FBA because what we say about Africans or Caribbeans or Mexicans or people like that. He's a Pan-African. He made videos disparaging us. I seen his video like a year ago, last year sometime. I never got a chance to respond to it. But he's a Pan-African. Even though he said what he said in the video, but by him hearing what that woman said, something should have clicked in his mind. I thought it was going to click in his mind that, you know what? I see what FBA talking about. I see why black Americans don't want to talk to these Africans. Can't trust no African. You can't trust no Pan-African. These people love white folks, man. I ain't gonna go in what the lady said. Lady ain't ugly now. I ain't gonna let an African lady ain't ugly. That ain't bullshit. But she sure ugly in the mind. We can't trust these people, y'all. We just can't. Especially collectively. You might find you one good African. You know how white folks say that's a good nigga. You can find one good African. Maybe. Other than that, nah. But anyway, I'm gonna play the video of the Pan-African too, what he was saying about FBAs also, just to brush up y'all memory. But anyway, salute.
There is an internet psyop taking advantage of undereducated African Americans called the FBA movement. FBA stands for Fear of Being African, I think, and it's causing a sect of African Americans who didn't graduate high school for the most part to grab onto certain catchphrases and hot terms to disparage African people and distance themselves from their own African ancestry. They claim they've always been in America, and the Native Americans are really the ones who came over to America. Like, it's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Something I noticed about these people online is that every single one of their accounts look a lot like bot accounts. And the ones that aren't bot accounts, you can tell by their profiles that these are losers. These are people that contribute nothing to the African American community, but they're so proud of being African American based on I don't fucking know what. And I'm an African American. I'm very proud of my ancestry. I'm proud of the things that we've accomplished. I'm proud of who we are. But we're African people that were born in America. And the most intelligent thing we can do strategically and socially and politically is to connect with the continent. Otherwise, if we isolate ourselves in the Americas, we will get genocided. So whoever is behind this psyop wants you all to get murdered. You're distancing yourselves from Caribbean folks and African people saying they want to be us. And it's the dumbest shit ever. I just want people to be aware of it. Don't fall for it. It's like the African American MAGA, meaning you're getting nothing out of it. And it's always the lowest of us, literally the lowest of us. The least intelligent, the least attractive, the least wealthy are holding on to that. Just the same way the worst white people hold on to MAGA, you know? Like Dr. Umar said, if you don't want to be African, fine. Stay the fuck away from us, okay? And don't speak for us. Don't speak to African people on our behalf. Don't speak to Caribbean people on our behalf because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, okay? They're not trying to steal your identity or steal the reparations that you will not get from America. So let us smart people connect with the continent, connect with our heritage, connect with who we are. Foundational. What the fuck? The founding of what? America? A genocidal white supremacist country that's owned by Israel. But you guys are abandoned America. You're so proud. You're a bunch of fucking dummies.
Donald Trump says he's over it. He's sending ICE agents to the airport if the Department of Homeland Security bill don't pass. So in a tweet, he stated, if the radical left Democrats don't immediately sign an agreement to let our country, in particular our airports, be free and safe again, I will move our brilliant and patriotic ICE agents to the airports, where they will do security like no one ever seen before, including the immediate arrest of all illegal immigrants who have come into our country, with a heavy emphasis on those from Somalia who have totally destroyed, with the approval of a corrupt governor, attorney general, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the once great state of Minnesota. I look forward to seeing ICE in action at our airports, Trump wrote on Truth Social on Saturday. And he also, this is one of his latest tweets, I look forward to moving ICE in on Monday and have already told them, get ready, no more waiting, no more games. That's what Trump wrote. Now it's like they set this man up to delete two birds with one stone. ICE agents are up there to ensure public safety and deport undocumented immigrants. It's a win-win no matter where he turns, and they're throwing him alley-oops.
Excuse me? Sorry? Yeah, I can smell that. Do you mind eating that somewhere else? I'm fasting.
That's not my concern.
Yeah, but I'm fasting though.
So why are you out?
What do you mean why am I out?
If you're fasting, you should be indoors.
Yeah, but
I'm eating my lunch and you come and disturb me.
Yeah,
What for?
yeah, but I can smell it.
So what? It's food. Of course you're gonna smell it.
Yeah, but can you not just wait until you like get off the
Please,
bus?
don't tell me what to do. You're fasting. Stay indoors and don't come and bother nobody on the bus.
No, but I'm just saying.
I'm eating my lunch.
Yeah, but
what's your problem?
Because you're right next to me and I can
But
smell
go
it.
downstairs.
Yep. Do you think you should have manners and not eat inside the
Go
bus?
downstairs and leave me alone. It's my lunch.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm fasting and I can smell it.
That's your business. Stay indoors.
What do you mean stay indoors? I need to
When
go out
I
and see
fast,
stuff.
I don't go out. Stay
Okay.
indoors, read your Bible, and keep quiet.
Well, first of all, I don't read the Bible. Second of all, just because you stay inside when you're fasting doesn't mean I need to do it as well.
Well, you shouldn't be coming out here making trouble with the...
This message is for those who have the ears to hear and the mind to understand right now. And if you do not, I completely understand. There is no diasporatic connection between the Black American indigenous person and Africa. There is no African diaspora when it comes to our people. We are a separate entity. We have a separate culture. We have separate understandings. We have separate ways of moving about with one another. We have a century long history in America. We are from here. Our people rose from the soil here. See the Aboriginals of Australia, if that is hard to understand. In tandem with that, when you see the behavior of immigrants who come here, like the Nigerian woman who started the Shade Room, when you look at that behavior and you see that they have no problem disparaging the Black American community and refusing to highlight our leaders in finance and law, aside from talking about their physical appearances, that should let you know these people are agents of white supremacy. They don't look to our community in a fashion that is anything other than a dollar sign, which is why we must remove ourselves, our dollar, and delineation. These individuals are not a part of us and we are not a part of them. In fact, on the continent of Africa, many of them within the same nation state like Nigeria are tribally disseminated. They're not the same people. So it's easy for us to understand that when we look into the truth. We don't have to believe the out of Africa theory because it's just that, a theory. Love you.
Man, get in here. This is the first time I'ma add a video to bag up the claim to this. This is the first time I'ma add a video is the claim to this to show you that the 1968 Indian Civil Rights Act and the 14th Amendment, Indian not tax, is us. This is the first time I'ma do this about to blow your mind. Now, before I show this video, pay attention to the room and watch how you don't see no Native Americans in the room. That's what I want you to do when I play this video. You're gonna see who the Indians are who the Indians are, right? Who the Indians are, right? You're about to see. Play the video. Now, what you would notice that you don't see Jesse Jackson. You don't see Al Sharpton, right? You don't see none of these people. Look at the room. Where's the Native Americans? Where? Oh, that's us right there. That's us right there. Where's the Native Americans at? Where is the Native Americans at? Doing the signing. Where they at? Okay, you see Lyndon B. Johnson, right? He the one signed the. Look at the background. You see us and the Europeans conqueror. Washington, D.C. That's who you see. You don't see no Native Americans. In one room. This is how the peace treaties were signed without Native Americans being involved. You see that? Look, you see it? White and so-called black, which the Indians of the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Look at the Indians. Look at it. Where's the Native Americans, huh? Can you point them out? Where's Jesse Jackson? Where is the NAACP that turned on us? Because a lot of these people work for the NAACP. They do. But where's the ones that turned on us to call us Negro? Dr. Martin Luther King was dead a week after this. I mean, before this. Look at that. That's the Indian chiefs. Look at that. That's the Indian chiefs right here. Where's the Native Americans at, huh? Show me where's the Native Americans at? They nowhere to be seen. And they talking about, oh, the 1968 Civil Rights Bill was for us. Look at that. Look at the bill right there. Look at the bill right there in your face. 14th Amendment, Indian not taxed. Look at that. Where's the Native Americans at, huh? Show me.
I'm very curious, you know? I'm very curious to because I just found out this court date just to let you guys know. I just found out about this court date about 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, that this date was going to happen. So I'm very curious if the media is there. And I think the media will be there. But the question is, who told the media? You know? Every single time I go to court, the media is there. They're trying to get interviews, they're trying to get content. And I would have done an interview with the media and, asked questions and stuff like that. But based off of the videos they have posted, they've been really hostile and really aggressive without any type of evidence. And they've been spinning things. So I don't feel safe talking with them. So when
Miss Jackson, please tell me, tell the people what you just told me.
Know that at the end of the day, we have to be very mindful of the fact that Kamala Harris was getting ready to be our president, and the vice president was going to be Walz. Tim Walz. And the reality is, look at the state that this country would have been in if she would have gotten into office. The reality is they got major fraud going over in Minnesota with those Somalians. The reality is there's no way Kamala Harris didn't know about that. And if she did, and was willing to still have him as a running mate, look how dangerous that is. And if she didn't know, then how in the world could she be the commander-in-chief and know about international affairs if she doesn't know what was going on right under her nose? The reality is all of the Democratic Party knew. And we need to be mindful while we sit here letting these blue city mayors make us think that this is all about Trump. so that we won't put another Republican in office in the national spot. We better, because if the Democrats get back in office, they have already given us a prelude to where their mindset is. They've already shown us the direction that they're going in. Take a good look at Kamala Harris, take a good look at Tim Walz, and see what they were getting ready to give us as the President and Vice President of the United States of America.
All right, guys. Vote red. Save America and save Illinois.
Save America, because this is all we got. We don't have nowhere to go. You can sit up here and say this, you can say that, you can feel this way or that way too. But at the end of the day, we don't have nowhere else to go. We got to deal with this. And people running over here because of what we got. Because of what we got. So to sit up here and not take this serious and not know to protect it and not to support a president that's protecting where we live. This is where we live. Y'all gotta think about that. This is where we live. We need a president that's gonna protect the United States of America, because this is where we live.
All right, y'all. Peace. Chicago Blues red.
Too big to rig. Or Chicago Fifth Red is going to the feds.
No, we're done. We're done. You're under arrest. We're going. We're done.
The family out of Texas has given an update on their twin baby who recently passed away. The funeral home called them and said she arrived with no organs. Baby Samaria was born at Harris Hospital in Fort Worth. She is a twin. Besides being born prematurely, they had no other health issues. The father said they were on 21% oxygen, but most recently they were on 3%. The father said in the week before her passing, their medical team had changed. The twins were born on October 25th, and the father came on December 5th to see his babies like he always did. When he arrived, he was told he had to stay outside because they were performing a sterile procedure on Samaria. He said he didn't receive a call about this, a text, nothing. He didn't know until he arrived. He started to ask questions and he said, well, I have 2 babies. Can I see my other child? And they told him no. As you can expect, he continues to ask questions, and 10 minutes later, a nurse comes and says that around 8 a.m. she noticed that Samaria was pale, but her vitals were good. But when she came back at 11:30, she was still pale, and at that time she decided to notify her superior. So he asked, well, what changed? If the symptoms were the same, why did you finally notify them at 11:30?
Experiences I've had to deal with in my life, because I've spent 10 years in and out of Romania, promoting Romania to be one of the most beautiful experiences for people internationally and investors to come and try to see, and really trying to shift the perspective of the way Romanians get treated on an international level. I've wanted to help the people here because I understood not everyone should be called a pickpocket or a thief based off where you come from, and I didn't want people to judge them off of that. So I used my international audience. I'm going to be answering questions in a minute. I just want to give you a little bit of context real quick. I've used my international audience and my international reach as being an American and traveling to show people and give light to people in different countries and in different situations. As you've seen, if you don't know, I've interacted with some of the richest, wealthiest, successful, entertaining superstars in Romania, as well as I've interacted with some of the, unimpoverished or unsuccessful or the normal people in the reality of situations. There was never a hierarchy of me feeling like I was better or I was lower. I can go and have a conversation at one of the fashion weeks in Romania at the top of the ecosystem of fashion and luxury, and then at the same time I can go to Fedetari, which is considered one of the most impoverished neighborhoods, and interview the people over there and still have a really good situation. So there was never any hierarchy of, oh, I'm this or I'm that. Every single person that's ever interacted with me while traveling through Romania can tell I'm a man of the people. Okay, I want to give a couple of contexts. He actually spit in my face and I acted on self-defense, which wasn't excessive. You know, I wasn't mad. I wasn't crazy, deranged, or emotionally uncontrolled. I was very controlled throughout the particular situation, but also in very shock and fatigue throughout that experience. It's not normal for people to interact with me like this. It's not normal for people to touch me like this or assault me in this particular way. These are not common things when it comes down to interacting with somebody like me. Scooby-Doo with a $2 super chat donation. Much love, bro. Scooby, let's just clarify the facts of the situation. I've seen a lot of statements and a lot of different things going around. Wasn't a teenager. It was a 20-year-old man. Let's just clarify the facts, okay? Was your footage entered into evidence? I'm not sure if I'm legally allowed to say any of that particular stuff, but whatever you've seen, the police seen and the prosecutor seen. So yes, it is. All right.
Nigga, we are not only Africans and we was already here, nigga. I proved it on my page already. I'm tired of you Pan-Africans. You niggas do not read. And if I'm wrong, I have a full page you can go to bunk. It's plenty of information. I swear, y'all do not read outside of Africa. Do you read American history or any other history besides African? How many books do you read a year, sir? All right? You can be that proud African, but all of us are not African, all right? Now, you can go to your daddy, your white daddy, or whatever. You can go to him, right? And believe the story he gave you. Y'all will believe him more than you believe your own people when they tell you they found information. Isn't that sad? The same people who told us not to read or we couldn't read because they tried to hide the fact we was already here because they wanted to keep the land. Y'all believe them over your own people. Crazy, right? They got y'all on a leash, and it's just so hilarious to see y'all in the year 2026 with no new updated information. To think that this whole world wasn't melanated at the beginning, okay? You guys believe in erase history until it's ours, okay? So go on my page and debunk it, all right? Do that. And what's funny is y'all know who controls the school system. That's what makes this worse. Y'all know who controlled the school system. And then you got out of school and didn't expand your mind further. Because if you did expand your mind further, you wouldn't be saying dumb shit like this.